Two takes, I'm less busy. Daniel wakes up in 1893 in the dark halls of a Prussian castle, and he has the amnesia.
Hey, what happened?
All that Daniel can remember is that he's from Mayfair, London, and that he is being hunted by something. Soon, Daniel finds a note. It's from past Daniel. The note tells him to go deeper into the castle and to find the inner sanctum. There he must murder a man called Alexander. But the note also warns him that there is a living nightmare chasing him. Apparently there is no way to fight back this nightmare, and Daniel must evade it for as long as he possibly can. Oh, keep away. Dodging. I saw him coming and I left. Daniel makes his way through the castle. He finds pages of his own diary strewn across the different rooms. It's Lenbart's diary. Dear diary, my name is Daniel, but you can call me Danny, and here's some exposition in case I ever get into a sort of weird situation where I have to give myself amnesia and I need to remember what's going on. Anyway, here's that exposition. 1. I went on an archaeological expedition to Africa with my BFF, Professor Herbert. Number 2, we were going to do some cool research on an ancient burial chamber. But number 3, when we were digging, I found a big chamber, and then number 4, a stone collapsed and I got trapped there. By number 5, it was dark and scary and I started to suffocate. And I hate that. It's my least favorite thing. And number 6, while I was dying, I had a strange vision. It was of a glowing blue ball of light. I tried to grab it, but then I blacked out. Sad face. But I didn't die. Some people dug me out. Hooray. Thank you for digging me out. But when I woke up, in me hand, it was a weird orby thing.
Oh my god.
So I took it back to my hometown of ye old England. But no matter what I did, it just wouldn't go back together. What can I do? Then, famous geologist Sir William Smith, boy, these people have fake names, visited me. He tried to help me figure it out. Shut up. Is his name really William Smith? I didn't even put that together. Even Will Smith couldn't help me figure it out.
Oh, that's hot.
Anyway, so Will Smith told me that the glass can change shape over time. Interesting. But then, a turn of events. Remember Professor Herbert and all his men back in Africa? Well, they went missing. Except for one guy who was very injured, and he kept talking about how the expedition was being hunted. I was sent some of Herbert's journals, and I started reading through them. It turns out that Herbert found the orb. Oh my god. So, Daniel makes his way into the castle, and there are monsters, but he evades them. But then he starts having flashback visions of the castle. He sees what Alexander looks like. And also, look at all the bad, terrible stuff that Alexander did in the past. Inhumane experiments on animals to try and take their vitae. Of course, their precious life goo. And he's a murderer. Look at this.
When you have decided that the victim shall die, you can smash their limbs with a hammer, making them fold in between the frame.
But they'll die. Too quickly, I mean.
Daniel continues to make his way through the castle. He finds an elevator in a Prussian castle. Okay, now Daniel is in the underground prison area, which every castle has, and in there he finds diary entries. Dear diary, it's me, D-Dog again, and I'm having a lot of nightmares. Anyway, it turns out that these nightmares helped me to find the orb thing. Then, when I went down to Herbert's University to look for some answers, I met Professor Taylor, a man who also has a very innocuous name. Everyone has a very ordinary name. He told me that the orb had some inspiration for the royal symbology. I don't know, I wasn't really listening. But the orbs are used by priests or something. Also, it turns out that Will Smith died 2 weeks ago after meeting me. He will forever be remembered for his role in Wild Wild West. Daniel runs around for a bit and then has more flashbacks. Daniel went to see a doctor about the nightmares, but Dr. Tate couldn't diagnose. I have no idea what you have. You have bad brain. I diagnose you with stink brain. Days after his appointment, Dr. Tate and Professor Taylor both died, and Daniel is beginning to suspect it's the chemtrails. And Daniel, fearing that he's going to be the next to die, begins cold calling everyone in Herbert's address book. He comes across a contact for a baron in Prussia who said that he could protect him from a mysterious unknown force. Thanks very much, just what I need. I've just been evading it so far. The letter was from Alexander. So, Daniel shows up for the booty call, and he starts helping him with a bunch of stuff that would keep the nightmares away. So it turns out that the living nightmare, the shadow, which is like a guardian to this orb, is coming for Daniel. He's gonna get him, and no amount of evasion will stop him. During this time, Daniel allowed Alexander to touch the orb and use it to attempt rituals that could somehow banish the shadow. And then Alex gives Dan a tour of the castle, which is when Dan finds out that it doubles as a prison. Daniel closes in on the inner sanctum. He bumps into an old dude chained to the wall.
Hello there.
His name is Agrippa. He looks at the wall. Agrippa is a friend of Alexander's. Or at least they were friends until this happened. And Agrippa helped Alexander to gain knowledge of the orb's powers many, many years ago. His consciousness is now trapped in a lifeless form, so that Alexander can use him as a source of information when he pleases. What? Agrippa asks Daniel to help set him free by making a special concoction so he can stop Alexander from using the orbs. This is like the fucking Dragon Balls from Dragon Ball Z. Don't put all 5 of them together, you get a wish. Anyway, Daniel goes on to find the ingredients to create the concoction. But while he's there, he stumbles across torture rooms full of body parts. Oh my god. More flashback time. Alex tells Daniel all about the different torture methods we use to extract vitae from people. Alex told him that this would fix all of his problems. It fixes everything. It's like essential oils. But Daniel doesn't run. He goes along with what Alexander says, and he continues to torture and gruesomely kill people. Oh my god. Which is why he gave himself the amnesia, because he felt guilty about the whole thing, because he was a serial killer in that. Get it? Get it?
Calm down a bit.
Anyway, Daniel tries to fix what he has done, but he can't. And he realizes that Alex had been manipulating them the whole time so that he could get the orb for himself. I don't know what it does. It tastes good. Blueberry. Daniel swears to kill Alexander. I'll kill you for this, he says, in a somewhat serious tone. Well, it's going to be a lot more difficult if you give yourself amnesia. Why give yourself instructions to kill some dude after you give yourself amnesia? Why not just kill him and then get amnesia? Oh, you idiot. Anyway, Daniel continues to look for the ingredients for Agrippa. I will help you, Agrippa. I get Agrippa on the problem. He has to fight off a bunch of monsters and stuff, and then he hears Alexander speaking to him through AirPods.
You really drink from the amnesia mixture? It does explain so much of your behavior. You never did finish what you set out to do.
He's just taunting him. Thank you, Daniel, for keeping the Shadow Mans away from me. Why don't you just go wait in a cell and let the shadow consume you? And, by the way, the player can actually choose to do this and just wait in the cell, but it's not the way the story goes, so let's move on. Daniel escapes from the shadow and he goes back to Agrippa. He gives him the potion. Glug, 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 glug. Delicious. What is this, Mountain Dew Berry Blast? Now we jump into the portal. Finally, we have now arrived at the inner sanctum. Alexander is waiting on a little stage, and he has an orb. Oh my god. There's a bunch of pillars harnessing the blue energy, completing the ritual. Alex says he's going home once again, now that I have all the orbs and such. Not so fast, Alexander. You forgot about my superpower. Knocking down pillars. Alex starts to disintegrate. No, you've done something.
How dare you?
Daniel makes it out of the chamber. It looks like the shadow is gone too. Oh my god. And then that's just how the story ends. Daniel leaves the castle, guilt-free. He's got a totally clean conscience, even though he killed those kids.